In the far north of ancient China, there was a frontier village where the wind never fully rested. The houses were low, the walls were mud brick, the road was always half dust, half mud, and beyond the last fence, the wild grass began. An old man lived there. People called him Sai Weng. He was not famous, he was not rich. He simply owned one good horse, strong enough to pull a cart, fast enough to outrun trouble. One morning, before sunrise, Sai Weng stepped into his stable. The rope lay snapped on the ground. Straw was scattered like a fight had happened in the dark. The horse was gone. When the village heard, they came quickly, not to help, but to label. They stood at the gate and stared into the empty stall as if emptiness was an insult. One neighbor clicked his tongue. "What bad luck!" Another demanded, almost angry, "Why aren't you cursing the heavens? Why aren't you standing there like stone?" Sai Weng looked at the broken rope. Mist drifted through the beams. He answered quietly, "Maybe." The neighbors frowned. "Maybe? Your only horse ran away?" Sai Weng didn't argue. He didn't defend his calm. He simply repeated, "Maybe." Days passed. Then one evening, hooves thundered outside the village. People ran to the road. Sai Weng's horse returned. But it did not return alone. Behind it came a small storm of wild horses, dark bodies, wet manes, eyes like sparks. They poured through the gate like a gift that could also be a weapon. Now the neighbors rushed back, the same mouths, a different song. "Good fortune, a blessing, your bad luck turned into treasure." They laughed, they clapped him on the shoulder, they spoke as if they had always believed. Sai Weng stroked the neck of the returning horse. He watched the wild horses breathe in the cold air, and he said, "Maybe." The neighbors stared. Some were offended. People hate it when you refuse their labels. It makes them feel unprotected. The next morning, Sai Weng's son, a young man named Liang, tried to tame one of the wild horses. The village gathered to watch. The horse bucked like a thunder spirit. Liang held the reins too tight. His pride held tighter. Then a crack. Liang hit the ground. A scream. His leg bent the wrong way. Mud swallowed his heel. His face turned white. The neighbors returned again, now hungry for the next story. "A disaster! A curse! See, wild gifts always demand a price." Sai Weng knelt beside his son. He tied cloth around the injury with steady hands, and he said, "Maybe." Weeks later, the mountains sent another sound down into the village. Drums. Not festival drums. War drums. An officer arrived with soldiers, armor dull with travel, eyes sharp with hunger. They carried a scroll of names. They were taking sons. Families cried. Mothers grabbed sleeves and begged. Young men tried to stand tall while their knees shook. The officer walked through the village like winter. Then he reached Sai Weng's house. Inside, Liang lay on a mat, his leg bound in splints, his jaw clenched with shame. The officer looked once, not with pity, with disgust. "Useless," he said. "Dead weight." He spat to the side, rolled up the scroll, and turned away. The soldiers marched on. The village became quiet, not peaceful, just empty. Later that night, the same neighbors who had judged Sai Weng stood outside his door, silent now, faces drained. They wanted to speak, but their mouths had finally run out of labels. Sai Weng sat beside his son under a dim lamp. Liang whispered bitter, "So my injury saved me." Sai Weng did not call it saved. He did not call it meant to be. He said only, "You see one link in a chain, and you call it luck. You see the next link, and you call it punishment, but you cannot see the whole chain." He paused, listening to the wind scrape the roof. People speak in certainty because uncertainty scares them, so they carve names into everything, good, bad, win, lose, but the world does not obey our words. Sai Weng stood, opened the door, and looked out into the misty yard. The horses shifted in the dark. Breath rose like ghosts. He said, "Do not worship good news. Do not fear bad news. Not because everything will be fine, but because you do not know." And that is the point. Not optimism, humility. In the end, Sai Weng did not become wise because he predicted the future. He became wise because he stopped pretending he could. So if something leaves you today or arrives in your life like a gift, do not rush to name it. Just breathe and say quietly, maybe.